And this is the newly glassed up Dalton. Um, Super exciting show going on today. Obviously, we have Greg Kampe joining the show. Just double checking we are live, so we're good to go.
A little
Wanted,
feedback.
to, wanted we wanted to make sure that was correct, and we were on air before he joined, and we looked like idiots because we're pretty good at that. Really excited though to talk to him. One of the obviously legendary coaches out there, and he is from Oakland University. That is Oakland in Michigan. It is not Oakland in California. Can be kind of confusing because I think when most people
Way
hear
better place.
way better place actually, Oakland, Michigan. I did a little looking up on it. It's a pretty nice place. It really is.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's
it's a
is
cute little
it
town.
it's close to one of the other bigger schools there, isn't it?
It's pretty close to Detroit. It's also
Okay.
pretty close to like I think Michigan State is only about an hour and 20-minute drive, so it'd be similar to like a Purdue and Butler,
Oh yeah.
something like that. So not super far away, but really excited to talk to him, ask him some fun questions. We've got some stuff you have to ask a guy like this, and we've got some kind of off the wall stuff. We're gonna try to do some blind rankings and some rapid fires if we have time. We'll see how that all shakes out. He told us he'd give us 30 40 minutes, and we want to respect his time, and we want to make sure we do the right thing by him. So, what are you most excited about for this? And what's your energy level right now? What's your nerves feel like?
I'm pretty nervous, man. I get super nervous about
I love
stuff
that.
like this. I mean, it's just like I want to make effective use of the time we have with him. I want to make sure we're respectful. We're interviewing high level people. It's like Aaron Fine. It's you don't want to waste their time. You want to
Right.
ask things that they haven't been asked before. You want to make it interesting for them. They go through all these interviews. They're always doing media, everything like that. So I get pretty nervous, but I think I wear it well, and I think that it comes out in the interview as excitement more or less.
Yeah.
What about you? Nerves? Anything?
Yeah, I don't. I only get nervous that kind of like what you said. Like I don't want to waste his time and ask him stuff he's been asked 100 times, and
Yeah.
he's just regurgitating the same information. One thing I love about coaches like him, he's very similar to Painter in the sense that he can take a question and kind of mold it into what he wants it to be, and that's just being a pro at what you do. So he's also the type that if you ask him something he's been asked a million times, he's gonna say, "Yeah, I've been asked this a million times." He's an honest guy. He's not gonna sugarcoat anything, and I am very excited for it. I really do think, Aaron Fine was awesome, but to me, this is like a legend of all coaching. Like this, like my dad, the second I said Greg Kampe was like, "What? You're interviewing?" Like he's a legend. He really truly is, and especially in the state of Michigan, but also nationwide. I mean, he has been at the same place 6 years longer than I've been alive, and that's incredible to me.
Right.
Um, Most people in the coaching world don't stay anywhere. Like we think we're really lucky because we got Matt Painter for 21 years. This guy's been there for 20 more years. If we get 20 more years of Painter, we're going to have 4 or 5 national titles. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
But very
How?
excited, very excited.
What is his age?
I think he's 75. He started coaching. Let's see. I think he was 28. So he's like 70.
Oh boy. I mean, that's legendary, man. Like most people are trying to retire at 63. This
Yeah.
dude's still going. And the way everything's changing, you know how easy it would be to just not have to change or adapt to the new landscape of college ball. Like
Well,
we
and
saw
nobody would shake their head at him if he retired now.
we saw Jay from Villanova. Jay Wright, he
Jay
was
Wright.
basically in his prime
Yeah.
and said, "I'm not doing this." You
A
know,
lot of coaches have left since this landscape happened.
yeah, it's crazy.
And
Like the dogs, like Izzo and them. They're sticking it out.
it affects these smaller schools way more than the big ones. I mean, these guys, you get a good player and they're gone. You know, because they can go get all this money. Very similar to what Coach Campy can do. I guarantee you, this guy's been offered $3 to $5 million to go coach
Oh
somewhere
yeah,
else. I mean, he's that level of a coach, and he's done it for that long. And for him to stay there and be loyal to his place, it's a very Purdue trait. I think people, after they see this, Purdue fans especially, will start to see that he's very much like Coach Painter. He's of that
yeah.
old mold. He's He's very honest. He's to the point. He has relationships with his players. You know, it's a long-term commitment for him to recruit somebody. It's not a one and done and off with you. He's a special coach, and really excited to see what he has to say and what it's going to look like.
He said he had 11 new players this year.
That's
That's pretty nuts, man.
that
To be
is.
honest with you, I mean, 11. You're trying to mold a team.
Hey, Jameson, I see you in the chat, buddy. You're over at my mom's house. Love you, bud. Um, Not sure how many questions, honestly, we'll get to. We're going to try. But I think if you asked him if he could change teams, where would he go? I think his answer would be he would retire.
Yeah,
He's had every chance to go to big schools, to other small schools. He's had a chance to go wherever he wants, and he hasn't done that. And I don't think his plans would ever be to do that, especially at this point. I know I saw an interview where he said his first year coaching, he thought he was going to make the tournament, be a great team, and then be at UCLA 2 years later. You know,
right.
that was his original plan. But things obviously never happen like that, and you got to earn your stripes, and he did, and he has, and I'm sure he's had similar opportunities to that. But he got to a point in maturity level where he said, "Hey, I'm happy here. Why would I leave for more money when I'm already happy?"
Yeah, I mean, money's not worth it sometimes, man.
I always
It's
say
like
money is something, but it's absolutely not everything.
it's nice to have. Um,
But
yeah,
it's
like
not like he's struggling. You know, he's
he's
doing
at
fine.
a college coach, man. Like,
And he's
yeah,
been
they're
there for
all
40 years making good money. So it's not.
pretty well taken care of. And I mean the perks of it, you get all the perks, you get the interviews, you get like somebody will buy your meal when you go out. I see Coach Painter somewhere, I'm probably gonna try to buy his meal.
Oh, 100%.
Depending on where we are, if we're at Ruth Chris or somewhere like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh boy. Yeah, he should be joining any minute. We emailed him the link, so hopefully he is good with that and can figure all that out. Really excited to have this interview. Probably will cut this part out, honestly, when I go back and edit it. But if you're live with us, thanks for joining. JMO always supporting.
My guy. My my guy.
I probably won't dunk on you as hard the next time we play ball, so I'll probably take it easy on you a little bit. Not too easy.
Don't take it easy on him, bro.
I'm ready for McDonald's.
You got to teach this guy a lesson. Dude, did you see the picture of Coach with in the McDonald's drive-through?
No.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Coach
Campy?
Campy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. He posted that.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. Oh,
We
he
got
just he just texted me and said he can't find it in his email.
okay. Um,
Oh, he's calling me. Hold on.
you could you're muted, bro.
$5. He found it and he's popping on. I think he hung up on me. So
Oh,
hopefully that's good news.
he's ready to go.
So he should be joining any second here.
Or he's done with it and we lost
Yeah.
everyone. Psych.
Yeah. Also, what a guy. I mean, he just gave me his phone number for asking and was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
just call me and we'll set this up." And I just
Blake's
get a
in
random
here.
call.
What up,
What's up,
Blake?
Blake? Blake's our
We
guy.
got we got a few folk in here. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us at 5. Hope your Friday's been wonderful.
End of the week, baby. Coming off a big win. We're all happy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some dinner.
Got the Akron Zips coming up Sunday. They're a good team. I don't know if people realize that.
Preview coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Aiden Mahaney is on that team, if you remember.
Oh yeah. Where you hooping, JMO? Anywhere you can.
Yeah. Mostly our
Everywhere.
basement. We have a basketball hoop in our basement, and he loves to get in there and hoop.
I
Hopefully he
love
figured
playing
this
him
out.
in pig down there, man. We played a little one-on-one last time.
Yeah, it's only like a 7 or 8 foot rim, but he has a good time. It's really helped his dribbling, honestly, just to be down there all the time.
What Aaron Fine said, ball in your hand, bro.
But
That's
his ball
big,
handling's gotten incredibly better.
big deal. Big deal. Well,
Hopefully, old coach is figuring it out. That's right,
yeah.
Blake. You can't shoot jumpers in the basement, but at his age, all you got to do is be good at layups. Give me a second. He's calling again. Oh, now he hung up. What are we doing here?
Hey, you could just text him the link.
Can you send it to me real quick?
It's up. It's if you hit the little plus with the people, it is. I can try to send it to you real quick. Well, we emailed Coach and thought he had the link.
He said he found it, but I'm guessing he's just having some trouble getting on, which is fine.
Sorry for this, folks.
It wouldn't be us if it went perfectly. Oh, he's calling me again. Hey, coach.
Hey, so I can see you guys. Yep.
There he is. What's up, Coach?
There we go.
I shouldn't have waited till the last minute. I apologize for that.
No
I'm not
problem.
really good at this stuff. I had somebody here doing it. Otherwise, we never would have gotten connected.
Thanks to them. Shout
Hey, it's
out
always
to
good to
them.
have help, man. Well, I want to thank you first off for joining. Obviously taking the time out of your day. Are you still there?
Yes. Can
Okay.
okay.
Sorry, I lost you for a second. For taking the time to chat with us. My name's Derek, and the ugly guy over there, that is my co-host Dalton. Means a lot to us. Obviously, shows a ton about who you are and your character that you're willing to come on a smaller podcast with a team that you just went to battle with recently. So, you're the head coach of the Oakland University Grizzlies. That's in Michigan, not California. You've been there for 6 years longer than I've been alive, for reference. And you've gotten over 700 wins and drank even more Dr. Peppers, from what I understand. So, I consider you the closest coach from a character perspective to our coach Matt Painter, and that's the best compliment I can give as a fan. So, you're truly a legend. And my first question is probably the most difficult one for you. As a college football player at Bowling Green, you averaged, I believe it was 57 yards per punt, and set a school record of 77-yard punt in a game. If you were both in your prime between you and Pat McAfee, who's kicking it farther?
Well, if you've never been in Ohio and you've never driven down I-75 and seen Bowling Green's football stadium, it's right out there. It's a beautiful stadium, but it's right out there on the expressway, and it's a wind tunnel. So that particular game, I got 4 kicks behind with the wind behind my back. So he probably would beat me on it. I just happened to have a great game where the wind was galing behind me. So,
Yeah.
see, let's really talk about. I was a defensive back that punted. You know,
Okay.
this idea that he was a punter. No, I was a defensive back that punted. So
Hey, that's fair. Yeah, we got to know our role, I guess. So we're obviously a Purdue dominant podcast. That's normally what we do. So before we get into anything about you or about Oakland, what was your experience like playing Purdue this year? And what are your thoughts about Matt Painter, just the way he is as a leader and a high character value coach?
Well, what you said at the beginning is a true compliment. If you were to compare me to him from a personality or standards of how we go about doing our job, because as you said, Matt is, he's special. I mean, there aren't many like him. He's kind of found his niche in Lafayette, and I know that other places have gone after him. and he's stayed there. And even in not there were never bad times, but there were always. I remember playing there, in the early 2000s, and he was telling me beforehand about, that was when it wasn't an NIL race, it was a facilities race. And while Mackey on game day, as I said after the game, I've always considered it in my top three. Gonzaga is on the edge of a fourth, but the Breslin Center, Mackey, and Fog Allen Fieldhouse, they're just unique in themselves. But if you're back in the bowels of the building back in that day, it wasn't real nice back there. And he would talk about what Izzo has at Michigan State and what's, they have at Illinois and all that as far as practice facility, as far as, the actual facilities, because then it was a facilities race. Players weren't being paid and things. So you'd recruit a kid and he'd come in. Like at Oakland, you'd recruit a kid and you'd never see our locker room because if you saw it, you'd never come, right? So we forgot to show it to you, But Purdue, I remember, Matt talking about that and how if they don't fix it, they're not going to be able to, and so he's battled through all the tough times at Purdue and he's turned it in. I mean, Purdue, in my opinion, is in the last decade, you have to put them, when you list the blue bloods, blue blood means for a long time, I get it, but hey, I was a kid when Rick Mount was playing, so Purdue's always been good in my mind, right? So you have to put Purdue in there in the last decade or so, and longer than a decade. You don't want to go there and play because they're going to beat the brakes off you. You don't, you know that they're always going to be good. They've struggled in the NCAA tournament, but they got that off their back when they went to the Final Four 2 years ago. And no matter who you are and how good you are, they're going to find things to say bad about you, right? He didn't do this. Every team in the country would love to have Matt Painter as their basketball coach. Every program, every team there is, including Oakland. Right? I understand that, okay? So, and that's the greatest compliment you can give him. He's just a great person, too. 2 years ago when they made that run, they played Tennessee in Detroit in the Elite Eight game at Little Caesars Arena, where we play a game. We play Michigan State in Little Caesars Arena on a fairly regular basis. And Rick Barnes is also a very close friend of mine. So before that game, I had to tiptoe into Barnes's locker room and then tiptoe into Matt's locker room and talk to both of them and be very careful what I said because I wanted both to win. I wanted both of them to go to the Final Four, but I was so happy for Matt that he got there and got that off his back. And he's a class act. But the whole Purdue experience your fan base is phenomenal. I didn't hear, man, I could tell you stories of things that are said to me over the years from fan bases. And I laugh about it. Like last year at Illinois, I went and sat in their student section for a little bit right before the game started, talked to them all, read their little newspaper on what they were about. And I was correcting the newspaper. No, that kid's not like that. If you're going to get on him like this, But there are some fan base. I mean, I've heard some really, really bad things said. But you don't hear that at Purdue. That's maybe the fourth or fifth time that we've played Purdue. And your fans are knowledgeable. I want to there's 3 or 4 places that I want to take my team every 4 or 5 years to experience. And now I'm adding Houston because I'm going to tell you something. That defense they play, I'd heard about it, but I'd never experienced it until the other night. And I don't think it would have been so tough if we hadn't played Purdue so good, but they were ready. They were ready for us. And man, oh man, can they guard. So that's a hell. I mean, they had a guy with 8 seconds to go, a 6'10" guy dive right through for a loose ball with 10 seconds to go in a blowout, right through one of my players. And we showed that to our team. And this is their culture, right? So, Purdue's in that upper echelon. There's nothing that they don't do and do well in the world of basketball.
We love it. Appreciate hearing that. That's That's super nice of you to say about the fan base. We were there for the Oakland game. We loved watching you. Garrett had a night. The kid's tough. Liked watching him play. He battled. I'll dive into something a little more lighthearted and fun. You and Coach Izzo, you do the ugly sweater battles, which, that is that at the Little Caesars Arena? Is that where you do
Which,
that?
well, no, it's wherever we play the game. We were
Okay.
supposed to play it at State this year because it's every other year at Michigan State and then at Little Caesars. Our place only holds 4,000, so
All right.
they wouldn't come and play at our place anyways. I wish they would, but they won't.
It'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, but so we play our home game of that at Little Caesars, and we've had anywhere from 15 to 20. I think 20,000 is the most. When it used to be at the Palace of Auburn Hills before they built LCA, we had the largest crowd, and Michigan State was number one in the country. They had Valentine and man, what was that? Forbes, and they had a really good team. They were number one in the country, and we had a shot go around the rim and not go in to win it. I had a player named Kate Felder who was a pro, and we went to overtime, and they beat us in overtime. And there were, I think it was 21,500 at that game, and the largest crowd in the history of the Palace. And LeBron James played at the Palace when so it was something. So it's every other year, but this year we're going back to back at Little Caesars because they called and said they wanted to move the game there, and I'm, whatever they say, I'm going to do because I don't want to, piss anybody off or ever lose that game.
Yeah.
So it's wherever it is, but it started because a few years ago I called Tom. I got to change your image, man. And he goes, "What are you talking about?" I go, "We're going to do something goofy and crazy, and people are going to never believe that you would do this." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "We're going to wear ugly Christmas sweaters, okay?" And he started laughing. I go, "No, we're doing this." I go, "Out, you pick one out, and I'll pick one out." So I showed up that night, and I went out for warm up, and he wasn't anywhere to be found. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to be the only guy here doing this. He's not going to show, And so then we come out with, a minute before the game, and he comes walking out, and he's got this little elf sweater on. And I'm telling you, it was ugly, man. And the problem, though, with it is we started the game really well. He got pissed off, and with about 4 minutes going in the first half, he got a technical. And now the media and people started calling him the angry elf because he's wearing it. So he didn't like that at all. So the next year, I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell you something. We're going to do it again. And he goes, no. And I go, no, we're doing it again, but I'm picking him out. All right. And we're going to we're going to wear the exact same one. And I found those Grinch sweaters that we wore last year.
Yeah.
And so the funny part about this is it's August, right? I mean, it's August, and I am in Cabo playing golf, and I get a text from him, and it says, "I'm taking care of the sweaters this year."
Oh.
That's all it said. And so, we were talking 6 months from when we were playing, and he's worried about the sweaters. I laughed my butt off, and then his wife called me. His wife called me a day later and said, "He's not taking care of them. I'm taking care of them."
Oh.
And what we want to do is we want to do something special and auction them off to charity after the game. So I have no idea what we're doing this year. All I know is that Loopy is the one in charge, and I guess it'll probably be pretty cool, I hope.
Amazing.
And
We'll be looking out for that game.
yeah, that's really cool. Can't wait to see what he picked out for you guys. So we've known you. When people think about Michigan basketball and coaching, Tom Izzo, obviously, who we're talking about, is a guy a lot of people come to mind. But you've been coaching at Oakland 10 years longer than he's been at Michigan State. So through those years, being just 75 miles from each other, you hit on it a little bit. What kind of relationship have you guys built, and how have you helped each other, back and forth through the years, become better coaches and just better human beings?
Well, we have probably one of the closest, relationships that, I've heard him say, well, he's my, that he's the best friend in coaching or this. And I don't think I think sometimes you say things to the media just to get them off your back or things like that, right? I would say we have a very close relationship. I would say it's been fostered through two guys that believe in the same things. We love our state. We love our institution. We've chosen not to leave it. I've had many opportunities to leave, not the opportunities he's had. Nobody's offered me $20 million to come coach a pro basketball team because I probably would have, okay? But he's had many pro offers. And we kind of just build off the same. Now we play a little different, but we have the same beliefs on how you win. Rebounding is really important to both of us. Not turning it over. Toughness. We probably have a lot alike in the way we go. If you were to watch our practices, I think you'd think they're a lot alike. A coach yelling bad words at people and those kind of things. But I can't. Nobody grows up wanting to go to Oakland. Right? Kids grow up wanting to go. My own son, man, I'll tell you a story. We played Michigan State, one of our annual games, and this was a long time ago, and they had this great player named Drew Neitzel, and it was a good game. But I got home from the game, and I hear my young 8-year-old boy or whatever he was upstairs in his bedroom broadcasting him, shooting shots in his Nerf basket, right? And he's yelling, and Neitzel for 2 more. And I'm like, even my own son, I can't, nobody grows up wanting to go to Oakland. So we have to play to the talent that we have. I have beliefs, but I don't point at a guy and say, I want you. And I go, oh, thank God I'm coming, right? And so we'll never play the same because I can't get the level of player that he gets. We get guys that we have to mold into really, really good players. They get really, really great players. They mold even, so I guess I'm getting a little off track here, but so I'm good at that. But we've been, he's really helped me in fundraising and things like that. There was, I do this cancer research thing, and he and I were at a high school event a few years ago, way up in the boondocks of Michigan. And the next game at this AAU event, there was no one in it, and we'd been sitting there forever, and he goes, let's go get lunch. So the two of us went to this little, the town only had probably 2 stoplights. And we go in to have lunch at this little restaurant, and by the time we were done eating, I think everyone in that town had heard that Tom Izzo was in that restaurant eating, and they all came. And he took a picture with every one of them, and he's like laughing because, oh, this is Kampe from Oakland, and then they're all looking at me going, oh, hi, Coach. No one wanted the picture. They all, But I realized then, I'm not Elvis, but I know Elvis. So after it was over, I said to him, I go, hey, my cancer event, would you come to it? Because I think I can make a hell of a lot more money if you do. And in one day, we raised a couple $100,000. Wow. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for him. I'm smart enough to know that. And so we've gone back and forth. He's done a bunch of things for me. I hope I've done some things to help him. I don't, I can't say I have, but I hope I have. And it's a good relationship. We'll always play each other. I want him to win every game that they play. I know he wants us to win every game that we play, except that one, and it's just being years of knowing each other. It's just no different than your best friend or your close friends.
Yep. Incredible. Here's an off-kilter question I came up with for you. If you could talk to 20-year-old Coach Kampe, would he listen, 1, and 2, what would you tell him? If you could change anything, what would it be?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that before, but I tell you, I've thought about that. And it wouldn't be 20-year-old because at 20-year-old, I thought I was going to be the next NFL superstar, that I wouldn't be coaching. I'd be. So I would tell you this, I've changed a lot as a coach. And the guys that I did coach, I was 28, the youngest coach in the country when I got the job. And I would say the guys that are on that team now would come watch me and they would wonder what happened to me because I'm not nothing like that guy, ranting and raving. But you could do that. I mean, I'd grab kids by the jersey because that's what happened to me. I actually slapped a kid once. I mean, I'm telling you, I'd be in jail today, I had this kid, he's turning around looking at his mom in the stands, and I just went, bam, look, you're looking at me, but it's 1986 or 85. The parent was glad I did it, right? It was just a different day and age then. So obviously, here's a story I like to tell, that if I ask a kid in the 1980s to jump, they would say, how high, coach? All right? If I ask a kid in the year 2000 to jump, they'd say, oh, sure, but why? I'll do it, but I want to know why. Before I do it, I want to know why. If I ask a kid to jump today, they would look at me and they would say, well, how much are you going to pay me to do that?
Oh, that's facts.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, I mean, I'll think about it and I'll do it, but what are you going to pay me, okay? And my guess is if I'm still coaching in 15 years, I'm going to ask them to jump and they're going to say, that's not in my contract, I can't do that. So the kid has changed, life has changed, so we as coaches have to change. I've got a sign on my office that I look at every day. It says adapt or die, and I do not want to die, so I'm going to adapt. I used to be my way or the highway guy. I mean, think about this. Steph Curry goes out and scores 1 million points in the NBA Finals. They win it. He's the MVP, and he's wearing purple shoes. How am I going to go tell my players, nope, you got to wear black and gold shoes. Everybody's shoes got to be the exact same thing. Tuck your shirt in. This wristband. If he's wearing a wristband, you got to wear. And it used to be that way, man. We were a team, right? The teams are all the same.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you want to wear purple shoes, go wear them, man. I got one non-negotiable now. That's it, just one. I'll negotiate with the player anything they want to negotiate except time. You have to be on time. You're late, you're screwed. But anything else, I don't care. You want to put your hair any way you want to wear your hair, you go ahead and do it, man. So I don't know if that answers it. The final thing I'll say on your question, though, as I got off subject again, is the one thing that I would tell myself when I was 28 that I know today is get rid of your ego, because they're going to beat it out of you. I mean, this is my 42nd year, and I will tell you for a fact, my prostate gland is way bigger than my ego today, all right? That thing got knocked out of me so early in life that, just get rid of it and just accept. I mean, just be lucky to do what you're doing, because you're really fortunate to have the position you have. Shut your mouth and do your job.
Love that.
Great.
Love that. So you've won a lot of games as a head coach, more than anyone active other than a guy named Mark Few, I believe. So when you were an assistant coach at Toledo, did you ever dream this big or this far ahead? And what was the darkest moment where maybe you almost walked away from coaching or said, I just can't do this anymore? Has that happened, or have you experienced anything like that?
I got a pretty good story about that.
I think you got a story about everything.
I've been saving this story for my book, all right? But no one's ever asked me that question. So since you ask it, I'm actually ninth in wins for active coaches. I think, the only reason I know that is
I met at the same school.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't be second because Izzo's passed me too. So I think he's 4 or 5 more or something like that than I have. Damn it. But we got to play all those bye games, right?
Right.
So I had a player, and he ended up playing in the NBA. I've had 5 NBA players in the last 20 years or so. And, man, I was just so frustrated with this team. And it was, you're talking about a dark moment. We were picked to win a league championship, and for the most part, every team I've ever had that was picked to win a league championship won it. But this team, we were on our way to finishing 7th or 8th in our conference. And it ended up, that team was the lowest finish I've ever had in a conference, and that includes Oakland had never had a winning season when I got here, and that includes back in the D2 days when, my first year here. We were early on in our Division I. We were picked to win the league, and we were going to end up finishing tied for 7th. And to this day, that's the worst. And I called timeout, that use it or lose it timeout with 12 seconds to go in the half. And this great player I set up a play with him as a decoy, and we were going to get a backdoor layup to a guy that I knew they weren't going to guard because they were going to run at him, right? He's an NBA. We took it out on the sideline, and we threw it into the pro, and he was supposed to do this, and he just took the ball and went one-on-one and shot a fadeaway jump shot from the top of the key. It didn't go in, and I just couldn't believe it. And if you haven't, but at the arena where we play, when you walk out the tunnel that our players go to the locker room, there's doors to the VIP entrance and the VIP parking lot. I don't park there, but I walked down the side of the court, out the player entrance tunnel, and instead of turning left and going to the locker room, I walked outside. And I started walking to my car, and I was done. I swear to God, this is a true story. I got to my car, and thank God I didn't have my keys. And I went back, and I couldn't get in because I didn't have my key. And so I walk around the building to the entrance where you walk in with your ticket. Now, it's not like Mackey with 15,000. It's only 4,000 seats, so it's not that big of a building, And while I'm walking around, there's some people out there out having a cigarette or something, they or maybe they were just so mad at me and my team that they just were leaving themselves. I don't know. And one of them goes, "What the hell are you doing out here?" And I said, "Well, I did such a good job of coaching that first half, I thought I'd let my staff handle the rest of this game." And I walked around, went to the entrance, got in, went down to the locker room. I walked in, there was 1 minute left, and my team was still sitting there like, "Why?" Big-eyed, like, "Where have you been?" And I just walked in, I said, "Let's go." And they went out. We got our ass beat in the second half, and thank God I didn't have my car keys with me because I wouldn't be talking to you today if I did.
Wow.
Well, that's incredible.
That is 100% true. That's not embellished. That is absolutely true. There's probably 10 people that know that story.
I envision you walking outside. You got this. I'm gonna show them. I'm done. And then you get to your car and you're like, "Well, shit. Now I got to turn around and go back inside."
I have my car keys. And I've never taken my car keys since. They always go in the same spot in my office.
That's awesome.
You've had, a ton of huge wins, knocking off Kentucky a few years back with Mr. Golke. But I want to know about a loss early in your career, that shaped you and, follows you to this day, maybe has shaped your coaching career, your mindset. How did you respond? One of your hardest losses from early in your career.
Yeah. One of the things, and as you guys get older and you get good at this and maybe you have a career in this or you do this and you get more coaches on and you're going to find out that any coach you talk to who's got some longevity and lasted, they don't even remember the wins. You know what I'm saying? The win, you're supposed to win, right? You coach to win, you're expected to win, your fan base wants you to win. You remember the losses, and you remember. There's 2 games, none of them were early, but there's 2 games that I still, to this day, wake up in the middle of the night, and my mind is like, it's like a horror movie. You panic and you wake up. Most coaches don't sleep much during the season. And when you do, it's not a good sleep because your mind is, "I screwed this up. I should have done this." I'm a firm believer that the players win. Coaches don't win. But I do think coaches can lose games. I don't think coaches ever win games. They create a culture, and they create an atmosphere that players can play in, and then you got to let them play. And then when you overstep your boundaries, you know, I wake up on that Michigan State game when they were number one and the ball rolled around and didn't go in, because that would have changed Oakland's perception nationally. That would have, and we wouldn't be a nice little story. We've got 14 Power 5 wins. I mean, that's a lot of Power 5 wins.
Yeah.
But that game itself would have changed. It would have changed how much money people give us. It would have changed our facilities. It would have changed everything. And it didn't go in. And then the second game that now is the biggest game to haunt me. And I mean, I do a lot of walking, and I walk by myself a lot. I'll take people sometimes. I take my dog sometimes and that. But there's a lot of times I'm just out there by myself walking, because you get to my age, you got to do something, right? And that's about all I have left. And my mind will go to this game. I'll wake up in the middle of the night, mad, sweating. I won't be able to go back to sleep. And that's our North Carolina State game, where we were 17 seconds away from going to the Sweet 16. And I made a blunder, man. I made a blunder. I called a timeout. And I normally don't call timeout late in games, but the wrong guy had the ball, and I didn't like what I saw, and I wanted to make sure that Trey Townsend or Jack Golke got the shot to take us to the Sweet 16, right? And I called a timeout, and my dumbass didn't remember that NC State had a great player, but he was about 1,000 pounds and didn't guard very well. And it allowed them to take DJ Burns out of the game. Yeah. And the guy they put in made the defensive play that we didn't get a shot off. He got into we were running a play through our 5-man, and we'd run it 3 or 4 times. We'd scored late in the Kentucky game on it, and I wanted Townsend. There's a back screen. Townsend was getting a back screen from Golke, and then one of the two was going to be open, and the pass was coming from the 5-man. Well, it was working during the game because DJ Burns was guarding. But all of a sudden, they had a 6'10" athlete in there, and he went out and jumped our guy and got a hand on the pass. Pass went out of bounds, 1 second to go. And after about a 5-hour delay of looking at who touched it, they gave it to them. And we never got a shot off, and we got beaten overtime. And as a coach, if your team doesn't get a shot in that situation, and probably the single biggest moment in Oakland history, and I called a timeout. And I got to live with that, you know. And that's what coaches, when you see the gray hair and the wrinkles, that's why, you know, because those are the things that we know and understand. In fact, there were a few people that asked me, like one of my best friends that I play a lot of golf with, a month and a half after that, I had a putt from about 20 feet to win a hole, and it was going in, and just before it went in, it hit a little leaf or a little like something, a little pebble or something that was left on the green, and it didn't go in. And I was like, my God, why didn't I walk up there? And he says, well, if you wouldn't have called that timeout, you'd have been in the Sweet 16. So all my buddies, you know, they'll make fun of it and that, but most people don't really understand it. I mean, the rest of my life, I got to live with that. And if you talk to Matt Painter, I bet you he would talk to you about he'd have 2 or 3 of those too, that, you know, these are the things that we think about. We don't ever, oh, you beat Kentucky, how great it was. Oh, it was great, but we're supposed to beat them in our mind, right? We're supposed to win. Yep. It's those losses that kill us.
Yeah. I remember watching that game with you guys because you were on our side of the bracket. That was the year we went to the title game. We beat NC State, the Final Four, and I remember watching that game and rooting hard for you guys to win that game. So that was really cool. And thanks for the story. That was, I mean, not cool for you. Sorry.
No, like, so NC State beat Marquette. And in the Detroit area, there's a lot of Marquette people, all right? I don't know why, but a lot of the kids here, the Catholic kids, go up to Marquette. And so a couple months afterwards, I was at I play a lot of golf, and I'm at the club I belong at, and I'm sitting there smoking a cigar and just talking, and some guy comes up to me, and he's, oh, I'm a Marquette guy, man. we really wanted you to beat NC State. We really, and because we knew we'd beat you. We could, and I mean, the guy just says this to me. I'm saying, yeah, well, that's really nice of you. I'm glad you were cheering for us.
Shameless.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Just a quick hitter here. I'm a big golfer. I've golfed my whole life. What's your favorite course in Michigan?
Well, I belong to Oakland Hills, so
Oh wow, yeah.
it's got to be Oakland Hills. I mean, it's had 17 majors. It's one of the top 20 golf courses in the world. But up north, Michigan has more golf courses than any state in the country.
I know.
I don't know if you knew that, but they do. And there's 4 or 5 up north that are just spectacular. I think the Kingsley Club up there is probably number 1, but there's one that's ranked in the top 15 in the world. I just played it earlier this year, and it's an old school course. I'm struggling remembering the name of it right now, which I can't believe that. But before we get off, I'll remember it. But it's ranked as a top 50 in the world, and so that one's special. And then True North and the Arcadia. I mean, there's just so many up there that are so good. But I'm a member at Oakland Hills. I got to say that publicly, right? I'm mad at me.
That makes sense. Yeah. We have just a couple more questions, then we'll do a couple fun things and get you out of here. I do want to talk real quick about the 3-game stretch you guys just went through. One of the most brutal I've ever seen. Purdue, Michigan, Houston, all on the road. What did you expect in scheduling that to learn? What lessons did you hope that your players would take from this? And then, what did you actually feel like you've gathered now that you've played those 3 games that you guys can use for the rest of the season to be the best version of yourself?
Well, I appreciate you asking me it that way, but I know what your people listening to this really want to know. They want me to tell them who the best team of those 3 is. I'm sure. They want me to say,
if you have to.
All right, and I'm sure they want me to say Purdue. We always schedule hard like that. I mean, I just, as a player, I wanted to play the best. I think that when we recruit kids, we want them to want to play the best. Now, I didn't know when I scheduled Michigan, Purdue, and Houston, I didn't know they were going to be 1, 2, and 7. I didn't know that at the time. Nobody knew that, right? It just happened that way. But, every year we do that. 2 years ago when I had that team that beat Kentucky in the NCAA tournament, we opened with Ohio State, got screwed on a call with 30 seconds to go. We would have won the game. We led for 30-some minutes, down 1 with less than a minute to go, and we got a rebound. The guy fell on our back and knocked us to the ground, and the ball rolled out of bounds, and they gave it to Ohio State instead of calling the foul. And it was Golke who would never miss a free throw, so we would have gone up 1, right? And they made a 3 on the inbounds pass. So we lost that game. We went to Illinois, who went to the Elite 8 that year, and we were up early. It was a tie game at the under 8, and then we lost it was very similar to the Purdue game, lost by 10. 2 weeks after that, we went to Xavier and won. And so I knew we were a special team, but we do that every year, all right? Now, playing back-to-back ones, I mean, you can't predict that kind of thing, but it was awesome. And we got a lot of people. I'm talking to you because of it.
Right.
It's great for Oakland. We do it for that reason. We do it because we want to play the best. And then if we out-rebounded Purdue, and Purdue went and out-rebounded Alabama by 27. Now, probably the fact that number 4 didn't play for you, but I'm not telling my team that. I'm smart enough to know that. But there's going to be a point during the year that I'm at halftime when we're getting our ass kicked on the boards. I'm saying, you could out-rebound Purdue, but you can't out-rebound Milwaukee. So it does that for you. And then like Houston the other night, we're never going to get guarded like that again. And we ran some sets and got some easy baskets against them. I don't know about easy, but we executed some and we got some baskets. We scored on some set plays against them.
Right.
And so if you can do that, and then when we didn't, we can show them the film where they lost their poise or they didn't stick with it long enough. So that's the reason we do it. And then the number one reason we do it is we made $290,000 during those 3 games. I mean,
Let's go.
So, that's the real reason, but
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah. So as far as who's best, I would tell you that I wouldn't rank them right now because it's November. And we didn't play Purdue with number 4. I mean, he's got like 7 names, so I can't remember any of them. But
Drink off and run.
yeah, but Michigan in itself, huge, athletic, fast. And the night they played us, they'll probably never shoot the ball again the way they shot it. 19 for 34. I mean, they were 3 of 23 against Wake Forest the next game, all right? So we saw them at their shooting best. And if we'd have gone 19 of 34, we'd have won, you know? But we weren't going to do that. But it's just one of those things. But their size and the way they run and is elite. So then you go to Purdue and you look at Purdue and I mean, you got the best player in the country. I mean, and the reason he's the best player of the country is because of the position he plays. Because there's no more important position than the guy with the ball in his hands. And when you have the best guy at that, there might be, I mean, he's not going to be the number 1 pick in the country, in the draft. He's not going, but I think that any coach in this country, if you said, okay, I'm starting a team and you get the first pick of everybody that's out there, I think 364 Division I coaches would all take Braden Smith. And if they didn't, they'd get their ass fired probably pretty quick, all right? So you got that. And then the other thing you've got going for you is the same thing Houston has going for them, is you've got guys that have been to the Final Four. And Michigan doesn't have that. And somewhere along the line, that's probably going to prevail. Houston they're a little challenged offensively. They have a couple guys that can really shoot it, but through their lineup, they don't. You know, Purdue will run 6 guys out there that were going to make the corner 3 against our zone. Houston was going to run 2 guys out there that could do that. And you know, so eventually that will hurt them a little bit. But Houston has 4 things that are elite. Their culture. They want to shut your ass out. And they believe it. And if you score, we had 17 at halftime, and I think he was okay with that. If we'd have been at 27, I think those kids would have gotten killed at halftime, okay? They're going to shut your ass out. So their culture is elite. Their rebounding is elite. I mean, they rebound. Their on-ball defense is elite. And the 4th thing that's elite is their coaching. Okay? You've got, for me, at Purdue, you're elite. You have elite shooting. Okay? You have the best player in the country. And you have elite coaching. Yeah. I'm not sure, because number 4 didn't play against us, I can't give you another thing that I think you're elite at. Maybe you're having guys that have been to the Final Four, where most teams won't. You could throw that into the elite, but you could do that with Houston too.
Yeah.
All right. Michigan, I don't know. All new roster. Unbelievable against us. I mean, the first half against us was one of the best first halves of basketball I've ever seen played. I've been around a long time, and I've seen 2 things in these first 3 games I've never seen before. And that half Michigan had, and your fans, when Brody Robinson was shooting 2 free throws in the second half, that was and I've been everywhere. That was the single loudest. The floor was shaking. My ears were shaking. I turned around and looked at my staff and said, Jesus Christ, it was so loud. And it's the only free throw he's missed all year. He did make one, which I give him credit for. That was the loudest. And I mean, you walk into Gonzaga an hour before the game, and there's 3 quarters full, and they're dancing and cheering. I mean, it's an hour before the game starts. I mean, it's unbelievable. You walk into Fog Allen Fieldhouse, the Breslin Center. I mean, those places are crazy. And that noise when Brody was shooting, unbelievable. So my answer to who's best, that's what the NCAA tournament's for, right? We're going to find out come March. That's why it's the
Love it.
greatest. That's why it's the greatest event in sports.
Agreed. How are you doing on time, Coach?
I'm going to eat dinner when you're done, so
Oh,
I
all
need to
right.
lose some weight, so I'm good.
I'll throw another off kilter question your way. Uh, I'm a musician. I read that your son Press is out grinding as a musician, chasing his dreams. How has watching him deal with rejection and trying to make it in the very cutthroat world of music kind of mirrored your own coaching? And what advice have you given to Press, as far as staying with the dream and chasing that? Because as a musician, like, it's hard to get spots and, everybody's battling. It's similar to college basketball in that format.
Well, I knew nothing about music, and I have no idea where his talent came from, because on his mom's side, there wasn't really, there was a sister that could sing, but other than that, there was, nobody played any instruments or anything. He just picked up the drums, and it was, hey, Dad, can you buy me a set of, well, so what I did is I made each one of my three boys, and I had a son play baseball at Cincinnati, son play football at LSU, and then Press was the last one. And I made each one of them play the piano, take piano lessons, and play the piano. And before they quit, and none of them liked it, but before they could quit, they had to do a solo in front of people. So not a concert, but whatever they call those. I don't even know the terminology in that business. And the first two quit immediately after they did it. I wanted them out of their realm. I wanted them to be nervous, to have to work hard at something, to go and then to perform out of their, and I thought that would help them in life. So when my last son, Press, did it, after he did the piano thing, I go, are you quitting too? He goes, yeah, I don't want to do the piano, but could you buy me a set of drums? And I said, why? And he goes, well, I just think I would have enjoyed doing, he had never taken a lesson or anything, taught himself. And then when he was like 15, he's playing with this band at a bowling alley. And so I had to go pick him up. So I went early just to view what it was. And I go and I'm having a Diet Dr. Pepper at the bar, and I'm talking to the bartender. I said to him, you got to listen to this every Friday night. And he goes, yeah. He goes, man. And I go, God, that's got to be tough on you. And he says, yeah, it normally is. But I'm going to tell you something. This drummer can really play. And I'm like, oh, that's my son. All of a sudden I'm proud of, that's my boy, right? I had no idea. And so he applied to the Berklee College of Music, never took a lesson. And it's in the world, the Berklee College of Music, they accept 175 drummers a year. That's it. And he got in. So I knew he had to be pretty good. But like you said, he's out in LA, he's trying to make it. It's hard. I'm still supporting him. He's still on the payroll, and I will keep him on the payroll as long as he wants to chase that dream, because I want him to chase. As you said, I chased my dream, and my family took good care of me, and so I'll always take care of him.
Incredible, man.
That's incredible, man. So final overarching question, and then we're going to get you a couple quick hitters and a little game we do. You're one of the most unique, and my dad wanted me to ask you this, one of the most unique defensive schemes that I've ever seen. And I noticed your son's name is Press as well. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but where exactly did you get the idea for the zone that you guys run, and how has it evolved over the years? Why do you find that to be effective, and what's the origin story behind that?
Well, and it's unique because it's evolved, as you just said. A guy by the name of, well, first of all, it's a version of Jerry Tarkanian's zone that he played, this matchup. I forget what he called it now. Dale Brown called it the Freak. Tarkanian called it something else, but it's a matchup zone. Judd Heathcote played a version of it, and they won national championships with it, okay? LSU didn't, but UNLV and Judd Heathcote won national championships with it. And it's a great equalizer we've won 14, 15 Power 5 games, right? So it's a great equalizer. Kentucky was the number one three-point shooting team in the country, and they made 1 3 in the first half. Now, down the stretch, they made threes. All right. But so I learned it from a guy by the name of Bill Evans, who was back in the early 2000s, was the coach at Southern Utah, and he won our league, and I'd never seen it before. I'd heard of, Tarkanian and them doing it, but I'm a man-to-man guy. I'm like Painter, man. That's how I was. I don't give a shit. I am playing man, right? Because if you play zone, people think you can't coach, right? And so I had to get over that. Again, I had my ego shrink way down, so I got over it. And we went to it, and we used it in 2005, we used it to win a championship and go to the NCAA tournament. We won the play-in game, and then we lost to North Carolina, who won the national championship that year. And that's where I began to believe in it. And then we used it on and off. And then during the pandemic, we got COVID and got shut down for 30 days. And we opened the season in 32 days. Oh. Now, most teams would have, canceled those first week and not gone. And so we had 2 days before we played at Xavier. Xavier was paying us $100,000. We needed the $100,000. So I said, we're playing. So we went to, and in those 2 days, we put the zone in, the matchup in, and it wasn't it wasn't any good, and they beat the hell out of us, but we got our $90,000. 2 nights, or a week later, we played at Michigan, and they were ranked 3rd in the country, and we held them to 57 in regulation, and they beat us in overtime. We missed a free throw that could have won the game. Wow. And they struggled so hard with it. And then 2 days later, we came to Purdue, and Painter ripped it apart. I remember walking off the floor at halftime, and they had kicked our tail, and I looked at him. I said, "You should have called Juwan Howard and told him what you were going to do against our zone, because it wasn't working what they were doing." But so we're in the pandemic, and we said, you know what? We're going, and we had we were starting like 3 or 4 freshmen. It wasn't a great team, but we had no time, no practices to play man. So we decided that year to keep going. By the end of the season, we got beat in the league champion. We were 30 minutes away from going to the NCAA tournament. We took a team and that's when I decided, you know what, I'm all in. We're going to play this thing. And then over the last 6 years playing it, every time somebody does something to it, like Purdue did something unusual that we hadn't seen before. And they put a guy at the elbow and then slid him to the wing. Well, normally our big man would run to the corner and get him, but he wasn't in the corner, so our big man's like, do I go or do I? And we had never seen that before. And so we made an adjustment during the game, and we stopped it. And then late in the game, they saw that adjustment, and the guy we slid out of there was the help on the drive, and all of a sudden, Fletcher Lawyer, who, I love Fletcher. I mean, when Fletcher was a little kid, I'd rebound for him because he's from Clarkston. He was in Clarkston, right down the road from us. Fletcher Lawyer drives all the way in and shoots a layup, and I'm like, how the hell did that happen? Well, we made this adjustment. We took the help. So now, after the next day in practice, we put a call in for it, and if somebody does this, so that's how the zone's evolved. It's not anywhere near what Tarkanian ran or what that Bill Evans taught me. That's the base of it, but now it's all predicated on what teams do, and that's why it's such a good defense. It takes a while to learn. That's the only issue with it. Yeah. You never look very good in November in it, but by March you look really good in it.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. Really enjoy the insight there. We're going to do a couple of blind rankings with you. Are you familiar with what those are?
Nope.
Perfect.
I've never listened to your podcast before.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you basically a topic, and there'll be five answers to it. You have to rank, but you're not going to know those answers until I say them one by one. So you have to rank them before you know the total of all the answers. Okay. So first one here, in 2017, you were wow, you were put into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. You're inducted. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. I want to blind rank the other inductees that year that were part of that class with you. Okay, you understand?
Okay.
Got it. So first, we'll go. Jalen Rose was also a member of that class.
3.
3. Now we'll go maybe the most legendary person in that class, Greg Kampe.
7.
7.
Jim Leland.
1.
Oh, okay. Dennis Rodman.
15. He didn't show up.
No way.
What a bummer.
But you can expect that from Rodman. I paid him to come to my basketball camp and speak when he was at the height of his Piston play. And, you know, when you have a bunch of little kids at camp and a guy like that shows up, what do you think they want to see him do?
Dunk it.
Dunk, right? He shows up in combat boots.
Not shot.
That's Rodman, baby.
He didn't dunk that day.
And the last one I have on here is Mitch Albom.
I would put him at number 2. I've read his books, and you know he's still on the air here in Detroit, and I do his show a bunch, and he's a really good dude. And you know, Tuesdays with Maury is one of the best books I've ever read, and I have a high respect for him. But Jim Leland, man, Jim Leland's the man. Jim Leland.
So
I'll tell you a little story about that too.
Go ahead.
That was, I got lots of stories, man. But
yeah.
We love it.
when I grew up, Al Kaline was my hero. My basketball hero was Pete Maravich, and Pete Maravich's dad's name was Press.
Okay.
Hence my son named Press, okay?
Heck yeah.
But I wanted to be Al Kaline. I wore number 6. If I was playing wiffle ball, I was Al Kaline. And he was, and everybody in my small little town knew that. I mean, I worshipped him. And the day I went into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, my phone rang, and I didn't recognize the number, so I didn't answer it. Because when you're in my business, you get some calls that aren't. So I didn't answer. So I go to listen to the voicemail, and it is Al Kaline.
Wow.
I almost had a heart attack. I mean, I was 50-some whatever years old. I was like in a panic. Oh my God, I didn't answer it. And I took the voicemail and I sent it to both my sisters and my brother. Al Kaline called me. You know, I mean, it was like. So I called him back, and he was just calling to congratulate me. And I go, Al, I don't belong in any Hall of Fame that you're in, right? I don't think I belong in here. And he walked me off that wall, and we talked, and he says, let's go to lunch. So I went to lunch with him, and then we started playing golf. And
wow.
I got to be like, we weren't best friends, but I would consider him a friend, and I think he considered me a friend before he passed away. And just because I got that honor, I got to meet your childhood hero, and to find out he's an unbelievable person too. One of the coolest things that ever happened to me.
Wow. I just want to recap your rankings. Jim Leland at 1, Mitch Albom at 2, Jalen Rose at 3, Greg Kampe at 7. We just skipped a few there. And then Dennis Rodman all the way down at 15.
I don't think 15 people went in that night, but that's where I'd put him for not showing up.
God, that's awesome.
That story was great. Your storytelling's incredible. Are you writing a book actively? This isn't a question. This is off the script, man. But I really think you should write a book because this has been awesome. My ranking is a little bit easier. It's a little less, well thought out. I want to know, we're coming up on Thanksgiving, Coach Kampe. I want to know your top Thanksgiving foods. So we'll start out with stuffing. Where do you rank that in the top 5?
If it has sausage in it, it would go right to number 2. If it doesn't have sausage in it, it's 5.
Okay.
We'll
We've
go
got
with sausage.
Yeah. With sausage, we'll put it at 2. Green bean casserole.
I don't eat anything green, so I wouldn't be able to rank it because if it's green, I won't touch it.
I'm the same.
Throw it at 5. Turkey.
I'll eat dark meat, so I'd put that at 4
4.
because I wouldn't eat
Mashed
green beans. So if there's dark meat there, I'll eat it.
Okay, fair enough. Mashed potatoes.
You have 1 and 3 left.
Yeah, that would be 3. But you probably don't
3.
have my 1 because there's my 1 I doubt you're going to say.
We went with pumpkin pie. A little dessert sprinkled in there for you.
Yeah, I'm not a big pumpkin pie guy.
What would have been your number 1?
Gravy. Oh my
gravy.
God, I love gravy.
Just a
How you
big
get
bowl of
fat though,
gravy.
right? Oh, if you ever had a homemade gravy, then I could pour that on everything and then everything would be good. But I'm not a
Yeah.
big Thanksgiving guy.
No.
You
No.
might even eat something green if it had some gravy on it.
Yeah, no, not me.
Okay, last thing here, then we'll let you out. Thanks for taking all this time. We really do appreciate it. These are just rapid fire questions, so just kind of 1 word, 2 word, whatever you need answers.
I'm not good at that.
I know you're not good at that, but that's okay. So you called Defiance, Ohio, the point guard capital at one point. Who's the best point guard in your opinion from there?
Jay Lehman
Okay.
played at the University of Toledo, won 3 Mid-American Conference championships.
Wow. Okay. Best trash talker, coach or player that you've ever played against or coached against?
I've never really heard a coach trash talk, so I don't know about that. Drew Valentine, who played for me, was probably of all I've known. I mean, I've had some kids come over and try and talk smack to me during a game, and I call them over when they do it, and I say to them, hey, I have a vote for first team all league. You might want to rethink if you want my vote, what you're saying. And that shuts them up immediately every time.
Okay. Best player you've ever coached against?
Wow. Oh. The best player I've ever coached against. Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, wow. That's a pull
Yeah.
right there.
I would say.
You're alone on a desert island. Who's one former Oakland player you'd have there, and why would you have him there?
You really spent some time on this, didn't you? If I'm alone on a desert island, I would not want an Oakland player, any of them. Now, there might be someone I'd want there, but I don't think they would be a basketball player.
That's fair. Hey,
Unless somebody that can really cook, I'd have to go through and see if any of my ex-players turned out to be a very good cooker or anything like that. Then I might. I don't think that's who I would want.
what's your favorite food spot for a late night post game?
Portillo's.
Oh,
Portillo's is the best, man. I don't know.
Let's go.
You have them in Lafayette? I know there's in Indianapolis.
yeah, I've been to the one in Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah. I've been there about
Maribel's
400
got it.
Yeah, I've been there about 4. My favorite city to recruit in is Naperville, Illinois, because there's 2 Portillos in Naperville.
Oh,
One
wow.
on each side of town. I can get one coming in and I can get one going out.
Can't beat that.
It's good stuff.
So, from your whole family, from kids to brother to father, are just full of high level athletes. Who is the best athlete in the Kampe lineage, in your opinion, and who's the worst, if you're willing to say it?
Wow. I mean, my brother was something special. He's one of those guys that he ended up playing football at Michigan. His senior year, he led them in interceptions, but he was injured. I mean, I saw him rush for 305 yards in a high school football game in 2 quarters. And,
Wow.
And then for some reason, up 34-0, they've got him returning a punt, and he lost his knee in the punt return, and that was it. That was the last time he played high school football. He was out the rest of the year because in those days, they cut you for everything. There was no whatever they call that, where they just go in with a little thing and snip it,
Oh, yeah.
My dad played for the national championship Michigan football team, and I never would have thought he was an athlete. And you never pay attention to your dad. And one of the last things I ever did with him, we went on a vacation as he was about to lose his life, and we were playing tennis. And at 68 or 69 years old or whatever he was, after having open heart surgery and all that kind of stuff, he picked up a racket and came out. We're like, no, you're not. And he just stood at the net, and I hit it at him, and he hit it back at me like he was Jimmy Connors or McEnroe or something. I went, what? And so then I whipped it at him, and he just popped it right back at me. You never think of your father like that. And then he did something like that, and I walked away scratching my head saying, well, no wonder he was, did what he did in life. So I'm the best athlete, though. Don't blame me.
It all had to come to that.
Let's
I
go.
played two football and basketball at a major college, so none of them did that. So I'm going to stick with that. I had a sister that was a swimmer. I had another sister that, there were some really good athletes that I was around.
We got your
You
back,
guys have done
Coach.
you guys did your research on this too. That's awesome.
Yeah, Dalton's got a couple questions for you, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, these are the same type of heavy hitters, just quick hitters. Who on this year's team would be late to their own funeral?
Well, we got that one rule, so I haven't found that out yet because but I would probably say Nate Deere. If I had to pick a guy, it'd be Nate Deere because I don't think he'd be able to find his funeral.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or hell no?
Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
All right. The funniest thing a ref has ever said to you mid rant.
Mid-rant would be funny. I don't think any of them have tried to be funny then. They try and be funny, but like I try and reverse that role on them. Like we were getting beat by 30 points one night, and there was and this guy was a real hard-ass ref, right? But I knew I was going to have him again, and he was, he didn't want any part of what I was saying to him or anything. So there was about 3 minutes to go in the game, and I had one timeout left, and I called him over during a free throw, and we're down 30. And I looked at him in all seriousness. I said, hey, so-and-so, if I use my timeout right now, I don't have any left for the overtime then, right? Or do I get an extra one in overtime? And he looked at me, and he didn't know what to say. And I was, no, seriously, because I'm thinking about using it, but I want to have one for the overtime. And he just walked away, didn't say anything. And then I had him a couple weeks later, and he came up to me and goes, you don't know the rules? And I go, no, I know the rules. I just wanted to see if I could get you to laugh because, man, if we can't have fun out here, why the hell are you here? And he and I have become very close friends. And when I have him on games now, you can't believe some of the things I could say to him because
Hell yeah.
just because they're human and we're human and they understand. The thing that they don't understand is when the game's over, they get to go to the next one and they don't have to go in front of the media and get drilled on why did you do this and why did you do that. And what I don't understand about them is nothing. There's nothing I don't understand about that.
We get on the officials sometimes on Twitter. Me and Derek are pretty big at riding them on there. Another quick hitter, your golf handicap. Can we go there?
No, I don't want to go there. I'm getting old. My index has gone up 5 strokes in the last 3 years, but I've had double hip replacement. I've had both knees replaced. I'm a bionic person now. I need to get my arms replaced and get something in there that's going to make the ball go farther, I think, because I can't hit it very far anymore.
It's tough.
So I get a lot of strokes and I need them.
Right on. Good deal. If you could tell your current team one thing and they had to listen and enact it, what would it be?
You want to be right or do you want to be happy? All right.
Yeah.
I took my son, the night he got married, I took my son away from the party and I put my arm around him and said, "Do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Because you're never going to be right again. So if you want, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right?" And I
Amen.
try and, every kid that comes through our program, I try and get that through to them. You don't have to be right in life, man. Just be happy.
Amen. Amen to that. If you could guarantee one thing from this year's Oakland team that they do well every game, what would that be?
I hope it's play hard. You know, I mean, we can really shoot it, but we're going to have nights we don't shoot it. I mean, I think we're really smart, but we're going to make some dumb plays. I think my point guard plays really good, but he's going to have some bad turnovers. I mean, you know, basketball is an imperfect game. So the one thing that I would hope is that you have no regrets. When it's all done, you don't sit back you don't wake up in the middle of the night and say, "Why did you call that timeout?" Right? You don't want any regrets. And so to not have regrets, just play as hard as you can. So I got some guys that probably didn't work hard enough in the off season, and hopefully there aren't very many of them because it all washes out at the end. And just because you do everything right doesn't mean you're going to win. But I tell you what, if you do things wrong, it's going to guarantee that you don't. And so just play your butt off every night that you play.
That's usually you got to pay for this kind of stuff. This is a coaching mastermind. One more quick hitter. How do you want your steak cooked, Coach?
I'm a rare guy, man.
Oh,
Put a fork
rare?
in it. I want to hear it say "ouch" when I put the fork in it.
love that.
That's
Coach, this was
hilarious.
a
Alright,
blast. This was an absolute blast, Coach. I don't think I've ever smiled so much during a podcast or an interview. So,
Right.
thank you for joining us, being an incredible human and such a positive influence on so many young men. It's really great to see in today's era of college basketball with so much uncertainty. You seem to be a steady rock. Good luck rest of the season. Good luck tomorrow with your game. And you know, if you ever want to play some golf, you let me know. We're not that far apart.
Well, I'd like to. Does Painter play? I've never asked him.
I don't know. I know he likes to grill out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if he golfs though.
he can grill. We'll go play golf.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for having Oakland on.
Hey,
Hey,
thank you,
thank
Coach.
you, Coach. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, that was Coach Greg Kampe. That was as much fun as I've had. He gave us way more time than he originally said. That was an hour and 15-minute interview. I was thinking through that, like, what can we clip out of this? And I think the whole thing. So
Oh my God.
just golden response after golden response. Also, a big shout out to you, Coach, for telling us multiple times you'd never been asked those questions. That was our goal, was to get a couple that you hadn't had. We also got an exclusive story that he said basically 5 to 10
From
people in
his
the world
book.
know.
That's amazing.
So that was incredible. Thanks for everybody who was watching. Really
The chat
appreciate
was
it.
going. The chat was going. So stoked on that. Thank you everybody so much for jumping on with us.
It was truly an incredible experience to talk to him. And you know, make sure that you share this. You know, we'll share it on social media. You know, we hope you guys will do that same thing to get this in front of more people. It's obviously rare to see. You know, I tried to find interviews of him like this, and there really aren't many out there. So to be able to get this and have it on our channel and be able to use some of this for years to come. For myself personally, not even just from a basketball standpoint, he dropped so much knowledge. I can't wait to go back and rewatch it. You know, when you're in it, you kind of forget a lot of stuff that's going on, and you're trying to, you know, think of how to respond or what he might say next or if he's done talking. I'm really excited to go back and watch this tonight. My wife's getting a tattoo, so I will be watching this pretty much directly after. So I don't know. Blake said he needs to write a book. I don't know if he actually is, if that was real or if he was just saying that. I could definitely see him at his age writing a book, though. He's probably, like he said, he's got a million stories. You know, I could sit and talk with that guy for 10 hours.
That was incredible, dude.
It was
Probably one of the
absolutely
coolest experiences I've had, you know. My jaws hurt from laughing and
Oh,
smiling so
I
much,
know.
dude. It
I
was
know.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man, Blake, thank you so much, man. Jameson, Brian, KB, my brother was in here. Um, you know, Andy was in here.
Yeah, man.
Just
Hey, hey, hey.
we're building a community, man, and we really appreciate you guys supporting us. We just crossed over the 100 mark on subscribers. We'll keep doing it. We love it. More interviews to come. We've got a couple of people we're talking to now. Um, but thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great weekend, a great Friday night, and thanks for supporting us.
Yeah, last thing for me, shooters shoot. That's my thing. Even though Field of 68 is trying to steal it from me, um, my next target is Chris Kramer. I will bother him until he comes on this podcast, and that may be a long time. But I do want to get Chris Kramer on just to talk more about this year's team and actual basketball, Purdue related stuff. So that is my goal. We will see if I can make it happen. I will work until it does happen.
Let's go.
But we also have some other stuff lined up that could be really fun as well. So thanks everybody who watched, and have a great weekend. Sunday we got Akron. We'll be dropping something tomorrow on a preview of that. Tough team, and just a game that we need to go in and we kind of just showed the world. We need to go show the world again. You got to back up what started. So peace out, everybody.
See you guys. Bye.
One love.